Yo, it's your humble host, Big Truck. So, shout out to my man Charles in Charge. He's doing amazing things. Go to the Keeks channel and show him some love. This whole thing about Joy Taylor, boy, I tell you, shit hits the fan. Karma comes back and bushes you square in your mouth. Fox Sports 1 and all of that shit, they dropped her, released her from her contract, they let the bird fly the coop. He got some things to say. I have some things to say, and then the spirit of the universe is going to take us home. So grab your shoulder pads and your helmet. Let's get this work and motivate.
If you ever wondered, if you ever had a notion in your comic book reading ass mind, what would happen if ever, by chance?
What does she have to offer other than her sex appeal? And so should we be surprised that she leaned into that?
And so let's go ahead and jump into this article titled, Joy Taylor Breaks Her Silence After Getting Fired from Fox Sports, but gets brutally trolled for her new post. In the article, it goes on to speak about how she had been involved in a huge scandal since the beginning of this year after she was alleged to have sexual relationships with many of her coworkers and seniors at her workplace. Fox Sports has opened an investigation about it a few months ago, but Joy Taylor continued with her job at the channel until yesterday. Fox Sports decided not to renew her contract anymore. Now Joy Taylor has broken her silence on social media.
Joy Taylor done ran her motherfucking mouth. She ran her mouth. When she started spilling the beans, she exposed herself. You let a person talk long enough, they're going to expose themselves. Just sit back and listen. That's it. If you listen close enough, you listen long enough, this shit came back and bit her in the ass. Let's continue.
So she broke her silence, posting a video on Instagram, which since then has been reposted on X and is circulating. And this is it.
I know what I'm capable of. And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly. It's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack.
Not just the rack, but them cheeks, them buns, them Cinnabons. You passing around them Cinnabons. Cheek passing, cheek offering. You know, like when you go to church, they say you got to pay your tithes and offerings. It's offering times, pass the collection plate. Well, in Joyce Taylor's case, it's cheek offering time. Pass the cheeks, collect the cheeks.
And then the comments came flooding in. And so the caption of that video read, couple set before the beach, but she's getting brutally trolled for it. Looking for another rich white network exec to notice her so he can take her to Pound Town in exchange for a new show. Another commenter wrote, getting in shape for her next interview to sleep her way to the top. Someone else wrote, she's immediately reverted to factory setting. And another commenter said, well, videos like this are exactly how she got hired in the first place, to each his own. Even on her Instagram where she posted this, where you think that the people who follow her are actually fans, they're letting her know. Thought the cake was bigger than that. Someone wrote, another commenter says, damn, you got cam finally. Should have been more humble. Another commenter says, please get the BBL. Please get the BBL surgery. Someone else says, chest up, look 25. Chest down, you look built like a 65-year-old with mortgage.
I'm talking about girls who sleep with men that know each other. That's the destructive behavior that I know most people can't handle.
When you sleeping around in that circle, that can get very, very dangerous. You're playing Russian roulette with your life. Actions bring consequences.
Or that have an agenda.
Flashback.
It's about the message that you send about hard work and how it pays off in your organization. And good people that have options don't go to organizations like that because they want to know they have upward mobility. They want to know that their hard work is going to be rewarded and respected. And remember, since we're doing receipts, I'm going to keep those too. Because if you don't have to have requirements, if you don't have to have a resume to get a job, the next time a woman's up for a job, I don't want to hear about the experience that she needs to have it. Because I already know she's excellent if she's getting the interview in the first place. So all you are loud and tweeting and celebrating this whole thing and celebrating the fact that you don't need certain kind of accomplishments or resume to get a job, keep that same energy.
Yeah, we keeping the same energy. Your ass didn't keep that same energy. because the same shit that you spilling didn't work for you. But you're too loud. You saying too much. And you told on yourself. That's why they had to get rid of you. So all this stuff here you talking about right here, right now, you basically fucked yourself.
The receipts have been kept. Let's just go ahead now and take a bit of a rewind just so you can better understand how we ended up here, where this was very much a calculated steps she took from her time of being relatively unknown radio personality, Florida's local market, to all of a sudden hosting one of the most popular debate shows known to television, and how eventually it all came to a halt.
According to her company bio. But then she joined Fox Sports in 2016 and became the moderator for Skip and Shannon Undisputed. This was a debate-style show featuring Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, two very big personalities. And as we know, the two men would later have a public falling out. The show would later be canceled. But let's talk about Taylor.
Even if you really watched her on Fox Sports 1 and all the other shows, her knowledge about the game, the only thing was looking at her breasts and her face. I can imagine how her brother, the OG of the game, Jason Taylor, feels about what his sister has done. I've always respected Jason Taylor. He was a badass DN for the Miami Dolphins.
Now that you have everything else coming out with her allegedly sleeping with upper level execs and even sleeping with one of the other hosts on a particular show she wanted to get on, you begin to see how she's used her sexuality to advance herself and gain more opportunities. And when you see her on these different podcasts and things of that nature, she's pushing this girl power movement.
What's the gift and the curse of being like a gorgeous woman in this game?
Well, I mean, if you look a certain way, you have access to different things. I mean, that's how it works in the world. The negative part of it is, particularly being a woman, sometimes people think that because you're being engaging, or you're looking them in the eye, or you're laughing at their jokes, or you're being kind, or giving them natural, normal attention, and is, she must be into.
So you're going on these shows trying to spin a certain narrative, but yet everything that you're spinning, come to find out, your ass has been doing.
Because Taylor has a very large social media presence. In fact, nearly 800,000 followers on Instagram. And she not only posts her takes on sports stories, but she also provides advice on pop culture, relationships, alongside glamorous travel shots, photo shoots. But now she stands accused of using her sexuality to get ahead, and later her position at Fox Sports to bully a fellow staff member. You see, Taylor is mentioned by name more than 80 times in Noosh and Faraji's civil complaint, which was filed at the end of last week in the Superior Court of Law.
In the lawsuit, your name is mentioned more than 80 times. Nigga, you did some shit.
We're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the specific allegations made against her. And by the way, at the time of this recording, she has yet to make any sort of public statement about Faraji's lawsuit. And Ms. Taylor is back on the airwaves. We'll talk about that too, but let's get into the complaint. So the complaint reads, quote, defendant Joy Taylor is a media personality and television host for Fox. She co-hosts the show Speak on FS1. At all relevant times, Ms. Taylor was an agent of Fox and had authority to make decisions impacting Ms. Faraji's employment. By the way, that's important in an agent kind of context because you're saying her actions should hold the company responsible. Just keep that in mind. Upon information and belief, Ms. Taylor is a resident of the state of California. Now, according to Faraji, Taylor had moved from Miami to Los Angeles in March of 2016, reportedly with the express intention of trying to get airtime on Fox. And she would occasionally fill in if the regular host was out, didn't really have a permanent position yet. But Taylor and Faraji became friends. And when that happened, Faraji says she learned that Taylor was recently married, but that her husband had stayed behind in Miami. So at the time, Faraji had been working part-time for Fox Sports as a hairstylist and barber for Fox Sports 1 Talent. And then she was hired full-time in 2016. So this is around the same time that Taylor started to climb the professional ladder. Well, not long after arriving in Los Angeles, Faraji says that Taylor's behavior started to blur the lines between personal and professional.
Things start to shift. All of a sudden, certain doors begin to open. What are you doing in order to open up certain doors? How far are you willing to go?
So the complaint reads, in approximately May of 2016, Ms. Taylor asked Ms. Faraji to meet for a drink in Santa Monica. When Ms. Faraji arrived, she found Ms. Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports' Executive Vice President of Content, Mr. Dixon, Charlie Dixon. As Executive Vice President, Mr. Dixon is responsible for overseeing all content and production on FS1. Ms. Faraji, however, did not know Mr. Dixon. When Mr. Dixon went to buy them another round of spicy margaritas, Ms. Faraji asked who he was. Ms. Taylor responded that he was just a friend. Following that night,
Gotta love those spicy margaritas. Them spicy margaritas are the bomb.
whenever Ms. Faraji would meet with Ms. Taylor for drinks or food, Mr. Dixon would either arrive with Ms. Taylor or show up later in the night and leave with Ms. Taylor. He would always buy rounds of drinks and or food. From their body language, Ms. Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping with each other. And although this concerned Ms. Faraji, as she knew Ms. Taylor was recently married,
So the hairstylist will say she already started peeping game. She's observing.
The complaint goes on to say, in approximately June of 2016, while at work, Ms. Faraji noticed Mr. Dixon in the elevator. Surprised by the coincidence, Ms. Faraji found Ms. Taylor and told her excitedly, the guy who always buys us our drinks was in the elevator. Ms. Taylor quickly silenced Ms. Faraji, explaining who he was.
So when she said that, not knowing, hey, we don't need to let everybody know. When a person is doing something, they don't want to let everybody know what they're doing.
Faraji became alarmed and warned Ms. Taylor that such a relationship was unsafe. Ms. Taylor told her not to worry about it. Ms. Faraji continued to be friends with Ms. Taylor, but tried to distance herself as she considered the situation dangerous as well as morally wrong, as Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon were both married.
I just think that if you let someone talk long enough and you're willing to listen close enough, you'll eventually find out exactly who they are. Because,
and the thing is, married. They both married, and they sleeping with each other. Side chick, side dude. That agenda will soon backfire, and it will expose her for who she really is.
you'll find out exactly where their morals, values, and principles lie. Being spoken about in this case that she's being alleged of, and then you piece it together with the things she says.
One, I think we should legalize prostitution.
Okay.
I have been standing on this for decades, and I think that prostitution should be legalized.
Okay.
They will never do this, but that I think would be a massive solve. I believe that straight male biology, and particularly men who have this sort of anger, is.
I want y'all to listen to what she says. Pay attention.
Because they don't get physical intimacy, right? But they have convinced themselves the type of physical intimacy they would like is, their favorite star or favorite OnlyFans girl or this unattainable beauty on Instagram who's never, ever, ever, ever going to fuck you or meet you or talk to you ever.
I want to speak on that. Number one, men are getting laid. Period. Men have options. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to give a modern feminist, mammy, spider monkey, moon cricket, 99-cent mop bucket pirate, the power, the authority to sit up there and bash men because your ass is getting exposed. Let's talk about the shit you do.
We have derailed. The point is, I think intimacy is a big problem. I think men not having sex is a big problem.
But this is my
and the confidence that comes from not having physical intimacy, not having the ability to have sex, turns them into these raging psychopaths.
A large number of women are not having sex. A large number of women are not getting pleased as they should, and we see that in their attitude. The same thing that you throwing out there about men, one can say about a large number of women.
So then we go to July of 2016, and apparently word started to spread that there was going to be this big show, this new show that was coming to FS1 starring Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. I talked about it before, this Undisputed show. Now, company executives have reportedly been looking for a woman to host the show as well. And according to Faraji, they were looking for somebody who had some pretty serious TV experience. Well, the complaint says, therefore, it came as a surprise when Fox announced that Miss Taylor, who is a bartender and radio host in Miami with very little TV experience, would be the moderator of the new show, a sports debate program, Skip and Shannon Undisputed. Now, according to a press release from Fox Sports, which has now been removed from their website, President of Fox Sports National Networks, Jamie Horowitz, made the announcement saying, Joy loves fearless sports talk and is a natural match for Skip and Shannon. Since joining the Fox Sports team, she's hosted several shows and proved she has what it takes to work with the best. And Taylor herself said at the time, I'm very excited for the opportunity to work with Skip Bayless, the top opinionist in the business, and Shannon Sharp, legendary NFL tight end and Hall of Famer. I love a good debate and look forward to sitting with these two and seeing what happens every day. But the lawsuit reads, Mr. Bayless later disclosed to Ms. Faraji that he didn't want Ms. Taylor on the show, but Mr. Dixon was adamant that Ms. Taylor should star. And again, think about that based on this alleged relationship between the two of them. The complaint says at first, Mr. Dixon arranged a dinner between Mr. Bayless and Miss Taylor, where she arrived in provocative clothing and acted in a provocative manner.
You see where this is going? You see where this is going? So now she shows up wearing what she was wearing, you know, her 304 outfit, thinking that's going to wall them. Say, hey, we feel that she's not going to be a good fit.
Mr. Dixon asked him to approve of her as a favor to him. Reluctantly, Mr. Bayless agreed to do so as a favor to his friend.
And so it sounds like that her assets weren't good enough to impress Skip in this particular situation, but she already knew she had the senior exec in her back pocket.
Yeah, she was already sleeping and screwing the senior executive. So, of course, he came to Skip, please bring her aboard, blah, 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 blah. And I get it, favor for a favor. But see, the way she presented herself did not sit well with Skip Bayless. The way an individual present themselves, peep game, because this is a clear example of modern feminism, how modern feminist women move. Sleep their way to the top, sleep their way to the industry. I'll do anything. I will offer up cheeks to the highest bidder, to one of a high position, so that I can get in and get that bag. Regardless, I'm willing to risk it all.
And so you see the intentionality behind her actions that allow her to put herself in a position to end up where she did. And yet when she speaks to the outside world, when she's speaking to women who aspire to do what she does, I mean, hey, if you listen close enough, she's telling them exactly what they need to do, at least how she did it.
With our last question as we wrap up, so what advice would you give to other Black women out there who are aspiring to get into the sport industry?
The most important thing is to be yourself. Don't feel that you need to be anyone else, that you need to mirror what other people are doing.
And so she most definitely embraced being herself as she spread her cheeks to climb the corporate ladder, allegedly.
So it seems there wasn't immediate love.
Alleging my ass, she did that shit. She willingly and freely did that shit. Yeah, that's being herself, her 304 self.
Between some of Fox Sports' hottest stars, and the alleged relationship between Taylor and Executive Vice President Charlie Dixon was reportedly maybe not as secret as they thought. I think that could be a fair argument. But then the lawsuit says that around 2016, Ms. Faraji attended a dinner with Ms. Taylor and her husband and Mr. Dixon and his wife. During the dinner, Ms. Taylor's husband became suspicious that Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon were having a sexual relationship.
So the husband started peeping game. The husband started connecting the dots. It don't take long.
Ms. Taylor's husband found evidence of the inappropriate relationship and divorced Ms. Taylor.
Smart man. I would have did the same damn thing too. So she's willing to risk it all for cheap offering, passing around cheeks.
At the time, talking about their close relationship, the two women often posted on Instagram about the different ways that Faraji would do Taylor's hair. When Faraji went to Taylor's birthday party at a rooftop bar. She says at that party, Dixon was there. He was drinking heavily. She claims he approached her, started touching her lower back, and asked if she wanted to do shots. Faraji says she told him no, but then he allegedly groped her behind. Faraji's complaint says Ms. Faraji did not know who to turn to, but as she knew Ms. Taylor was sleeping with Mr. Dixon, she turned to her. Surprisingly, Ms. Taylor responded to get over it and explained that she herself only had her job because of Mr. Dixon and that Ms. Faraji only had her job because Ms. Taylor requested her.
Well, what more proof do you need? What more proof do you need? Let's continue to conversate and motivate.
She warned that Mr. Dixon could take both away. Now, this was not the only time that Taylor reportedly wanted Faraji to, quote, get over incidents involving her coworkers. You see, Faraji lays out this other incident where a female talent member, just called Anonymous in the complaint, had had lunch with Faraji. The complaint reads there, Anonymous told Ms. Faraji that she would no longer be with Fox as Mr. Dixon told her that she would need to have sex with him if she wanted to renew her contract, but she had refused. Anonymous further conveyed that 1, Mr. Dixon was doing this to other women talent, 2, she should warn Ms. Taylor to be careful, and 3, a talk show host had recently reported Mr. Dixon. So following the lunch, Ms. Faraji called Ms. Taylor to convey what Anonymous had stated. Ms. Taylor responded that no one gives an F about Anonymous or the talk show host who had reported Mr. Dixon. So quite the allegation there. And again, according to Faraji's account, despite Taylor allegedly having this affair with Dixon that led to a divorce, according to Faraji, it appears this relationship was ongoing. And she claims that in 2018, Taylor's new fiance broke off their engagement. After, quote, learning of Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon's sexual relationship, Ms. Taylor's then fiance broke off the engagement and threatened to go public with all that he knew. On information and belief, Mr. Dixon paid for the wedding deposits in an informal exchange for her fiance's silence.
See, no one will take her seriously. She's not relationship material. Everything has blown up in her face. You got people's lives that are taken behind shit like this. She single-handedly destroyed her own career. She make other female sports casters look bad. Joy Taylor sold her soul. And just so happens that the devil came to collect. It was time to collect, and the devil came collecting this way. Who are you selling your soul to? How far are you willing to go? What are you willing to pay when the devil comes to collect? Choice is yours.
That Ms. Faraji, this hairstylist, she doesn't just allege this, she also alleges that Dixon may not have been the only Fox Sports 1 employee that Taylor was having sex with. When Ms. Faraji arrived, she found Ms. Taylor with a man, Emmanuel Acho. Ms. Faraji did not know Mr. Acho, but could tell that the two were romantically involved. A few months after meeting Mr. Acho at the lunch, Ms. Faraji noticed him in the hallway while at work. Ms. Faraji later asked Ms. Taylor if Mr. Acho also worked at Fox. Ms. Taylor confirmed and explained that she wanted Mr. Acho to eventually recommend her on the show Speak for Yourself.
Just got done with rehearsal for the new show Speak, and I got to take a moment to shout out my co-host Joy Taylor. A woman, a black woman, daily show, sports. Do you all realize how hard it is to get into the position that she is in?
Bullshit. She offered you them cheeks and you took advantage of cheeks. She did some things and you received what she had to give.
So often there's misogyny and sexism running rampant in sports, and we don't even care what women have to say in sports. But Joy is not only in the position on television as a woman, as a black woman, but as an opinionist. So not just asking men what they think, but providing her own unique and distinct insight. It's hard to do, and Joy, you have done it. So congratulations. Looking forward to working with you.
I want to know why he keep looking up to the left. Lying ass. Deceptive ass.
Y'all tune in 4:30 to 6 Eastern every day starting next week.
Ms. Faraji became alarmed and warned Ms. Taylor that she should probably not sleep with Mr. Dixon and Mr. Acho at the same time, as Mr. Dixon is a very powerful man that may become very angry. Ms. Taylor told her not to worry about it And this part's important. She explained that she was also now powerful. And once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Mr. Dixon like other women talent.
With that being said, and we're going to leave it at that, Joy Taylor, not knowing people listen, not knowing people pay attention, not knowing that the shit gonna come back on you. You've been exposed. The smoke is here. One love.